Welcome to the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Michael Burt, your host today. Follow me at Michael Burt. Follow at Brock Patterson, the Chief Optimizer at Brock Patterson. Today we're coming to you live from the Burt Center in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We come to you every Tuesday, 3 p.m., exclusively on the Whatever It Takes Network. And every week, Brock, we come to you to really do three things: multiply your life, multiply your money, and multiply your business. A super coach is a cross between a former championship coach who has an entrepreneurial mind, and we will, every session, find the kryptonite in your life. We will find the one thing that's holding you back. And today's topic for this show: are you in a career, or are you in your calling? Are you just in a career out there in the world and getting by, barely making it, putting some food on the table? Or is this your real calling? And is it even possible for you to have your real calling? Because here's what I want to say to you. If you're out there watching, is it possible for you to find your calling? Or are you relegated to just a job that you go to every single day while you daydream about what you're really supposed to be doing with your life? Why do some appear to be living their dream while others are living a nightmare?
That's right.
And there's a lot of people, Brock, that I think feel like are living a nightmare. Why do some people go out there every single day and do something that they just don't love? I personally could not ever imagine doing something that I wasn't passionate about, that I didn't enjoy. I couldn't imagine going out every day and doing meaningless work that I was compensated poorly for.
Right.
I can't imagine. So if you believe that you're hardwired with certain talents, and I believe everybody is hardwired with certain talents, then why in the world will you not believe that you could be compensated for those talents? So today we're tackling career or calling. Now, I wrote a book called This Ain't No Practice Life. We got it right here. This was my third book I wrote. It was a bestseller for us. And in this book, when people ask me what it's really about, I think it's about finding your calling. So,
powerful.
Brock, for the viewer who's
Right.
out there either listening to us on iTunes or watching it on the WIT Nation, Grant Cardone's Whatever It Takes Network, why is it so freaking hard, man? Why is it so hard for people to believe that they can wake up every day and do what they love doing?
Right. It starts early. I think in our Western society, I think it starts early with our parents. I don't believe our parents are really paying attention to the things that we're truly gifted at. We're really worried about who's hitting the most home runs or who's scoring the most touchdowns. I don't think our parents are really sending us on our paths to figure out what our true talents are, therefore finding out what your true calling is and pushing you into either education or apprenticeship right to where you need to go.
And most parents hadn't found their calling.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, most of our parents got up and went to a job 30 or 40 years,
Yeah.
grinded it out,
Right.
wasn't on the right bus, weren't using their talents, and so they don't know how to help us, really. So let me give you some stats, because we believe 1 hour can change your life on this show. We believe your radio can be your coach, and we believe a good coach will have conversations with you don't want to have.
That's right.
Make you do some things you don't want to do, help you become something you didn't think you could become. Now, when you say, why is this important, Coach? Why does it matter? It's just a job. I'm getting paid. I'm putting food on the table. I'm not that happy, but it really don't matter. Well, here's how people spend their time. Time is a depreciating asset.
That's right.
It because every second it is eroding. Like a dollar bill that's eroding due to inflation and taxes. Your time is eroding. So here's how people spend their time. Average person spends 23 years of their life sleeping. 9.5 years in their car. 6 years eating. I think that one's a little low. 5 to 15 years in some form of spiritual or religious activity. Between 15 and 25 years in education or training. And here's the $1 million line.
Let's hear it.
The people out there watching this show, including you and I, will spend 35 to 50 years of their life working. The largest percentage of your time and my time will be spent in and through our work. And our work is nothing more than a relationship with a purpose.
That's right.
And so here's the object of today's show. You need to begin to see your work as the distribution channel for your talents, where you wake up and instead of trading your time and energy for money. You're not even trading your time. You're renting
Right.
your time and energy
Yeah.
for money. That you start looking at it like this. I am trading my talent and my passion for purpose. And they compensate me for bringing my skills to the party.
Boom.
Okay?
Payday.
There's a reason entertainers and artists are some of the highest paid people in the world. And when they win awards, they all say the same thing. I'm so lucky. I can't believe
Right.
I'm so lucky that I get to wake up every day and do exactly
Yes.
what I want to do. Now, I did a little research for this show.
Let's hear it.
Here is 2014 highest paid entertainers. The Eagles made $100 million.
Good grief.
2014. Bon Jovi, $82 million. Katy Perry, $40 million. Miley Cyrus, twerking all over the place, $30 million. Taylor Swift, our Nashville girl, $64 million. And Toby Keith, who wasn't even on tour,
Wow.
$65 million. All of these were just regular Jimmies and Joes that went to school just like you, that figured out that they could be compensated for their time and their talents. So in this show today, Brock, we're going to talk about how, is this your career, is this your calling? Now, here's a tip from you. If a person is out there, because I'm thinking about kryptonite for people.
Right.
One of the kryptonites for people is you.
Right.
You
Oh, yeah.
don't
Oh, yeah.
believe you're worthy of making that kind of money.
Right.
You haven't even sold your own self to yourself.
Yeah, we
okay?
talk about
and
that
because of that, you got some kryptonite.
Yeah.
And your kryptonite is you have said, you know what, I'm going to be an hourly employee. I'm going to make a certain amount of money. I don't even deserve to be a star in my field.
Right.
So the kryptonite is you. Brock, what's a practical tip? If I'm a person out there and I'm in a career,
Right.
it's not my calling, but I know that my calling is something else. What is something I can specifically go do today? Because let me tell you something. There are more people in this
Yeah.
than more big entertainers
Absolutely.
out there in the world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Talk to me.
You know, one of the big thing is, you know, we've heard often recently, follow your passion. You know, if you you'll never work a day in your life. You follow your passion. Well, guess what? Your passion may not be profitable. What you've got to find is the intersection of what puts you on fire, your passion, and profitability. So it could be, you know, something that is a side hustle, or it could be something that you like doing. Maybe not, you don't love it, but you like doing it. I think you got to find that intersection of passion and profitability.
So I'm out there in the world, and my job, Brock, is shoveling shit. That's my job.
Right.
All right?
Oh, yeah.
And there are people that
yeah,
do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going every day, and
Yeah,
I'm going,
yeah.
what am I doing, man?
Yeah.
How did this happen to me?
Right.
Because we know somebody's
Yeah.
got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you would tell me, if I was out there doing this job, shoveling manure,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
Is
right.
it manure?
Manure. Hey,
If I was
tomato,
out there-
tomato.
Is I was out there shoveling manure,
Right.
and you said, look, man, here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to start figuring out how to take what you love doing
Yeah.
and get compensated.
Chances are he or she is not
You don't
loving
grow up and want to
shoving.
shoveling
Yeah,
manure.
no.
So when you think about it today, we're talking in segment 2. How do you know? How do you know if this is a career or this is your true calling? I got 6 ways to let you know if you own the wrong bus. You're watching the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Follow me at Micheal Burt on Twitter, at Brock Patterson on Twitter. When we come back, I got 6 ways that you're going to know it's time to start your side hustle, because this is just a career. It's not your calling. 2015 is the year of the monster. I'm talking about a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. You see, I got a new coaching program, and I'm looking for people who want to have a monster year. Once a month coaching program for 3 hours with other like-minded monsters in a structured environment with key measurable outcomes and lots of accountability. You see, the Monster Coaching Program is coming, and we've already got 22 monsters signed up. Will you be in the class? Are you somewhere else in the country? No worries. We'll be live streaming this with workshops every month online. You can come into Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where our monsters will be every single month for 3 hours. We also have 2 destination summits, one in New York City in April and one in Cabo San Lucas in the fall, and then a big celebration. If you're interested in being a monster, come on and join us. You get the Monster Producer Planner, you get the book, you get the app, and you get me coaching the heck out of you to be a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market in 2015. Go to monsterproducer.com. All right, welcome back to the Super Coach Show, coming to you live every Tuesday, 3 p.m. on the Whatever It Takes Network. And if you like the show, tweet it, share it, download it, upload it, whatever you got to do. We come to you live every week. We believe everybody needs a good coach in life, but not just any coach. You need a freaking super coach, which is a coach on crack.
Yeah, no manure here.
No manure, no coachy manure here, right?
No.
Today we're talking career versus calling. I know there's a lot of people that watch the show. There's a lot of people that watch the Whatever It Takes Network.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell from their feedback, from what they say, that they're not on the right bus. We actually have gotten several emails. You can email us at info@coachburt.com or send a message through our website. Brock, we got one today.
Let's hear it.
Of a person that's going through transition. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a person that's looking for some direction. Well,
Yeah.
the first thing I would tell him, get in our corporate membership.
Yeah.
Get monthly coaching from me online, $99 a month, best money you'll ever spend in your life. Pick up a copy of my book, This Ain't No Practice Life, and you will start the process of finding your calling.
Right.
You see, every day you can wake up and rent your time and energy for money, or you can wake up and do what you love doing, man, and get paid for it. So in this segment, we're going to talk about how do you know?
Ooh.
How do you know? Brock, I'm guessing. Now, I pumped gas when I was 16, 17-year-old.
I didn't know that.
Hated it, man.
I didn't know
Hated
that.
it.
There we go.
I went and worked at a bank because I thought the people at the bank actually made money. And I didn't figure out that the people really made money were the lenders, the president, and the mortgage folks, people we work with today, right?
That's right.
I went to work at a bank as a teller when I was 18 while I was coaching in college. Hated it with a passion.
Mm-hmm.
I knew on the wrong bus. Let me tell you what I look like. I look like this guy behind us right here. This is what I look like every day going to work. Had the Monday dreads, Sunday night dreads, Monday sickness, didn't want to be there, didn't want to go through the motion. I want to give you 6 ways for you to know if this is just a career for you and not a call.
Right.
Number 1, you're bored out of your freaking mind. You are bored out. You're not being challenged.
Right.
The mind's need is to be challenged. And if you're not getting challenged in your work and you're daydreaming, that's number 2. Here's another one. You're barely getting by. You're barely getting by.
And all that happens fast.
There's a difference between I'm climbing a ladder. When I was a young coach, I made $24,000 a year. It was commensurate.
Right.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
It's commensurate to my skill set.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, if I was 38 years old now and still only making $23,000, there's a problem.
Houston, we got a problem.
There's a problem, okay?
That's right.
So I'm bored, I'm daydreaming, I'm barely getting by. Here's a big one. There is a gnawing at your conscience that says you are destined for bigger things than this role. When I was a coach, when I retired at 31, bro, people ask me all the time why I retired so young in life. Here's what I said. I was destined for something bigger than being a high school basketball coach.
Right.
Nothing wrong with being a high school coach.
Yeah.
Some of the best years of my life. I got tired of just having 30 people to impact. There's also, number 5, a constant frustration. Can't believe I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
Can't believe I'm going to work doing this. And then there's a grief about your lost potential. Now, out of these, you've had, how many roles have you had before you came to me, Brock?
Well, I've had a lot of corporate experience. What I've seen is there's 2 things that really kind of stick at me, what you just said. Constant frustration is one of the biggest things that I see. And then people start to barely get by.
Yes.
And that is dangerous territory. And you probably, my guess is you probably saw this coaching.
Yes.
Where some of your players were just barely getting by. So what did you do to take your team when they were just barely getting by? What did you do to add that thunderbolt?
I had a critical conversation, and I said, what's up? What's up? You got all kinds of potential. I'm trying to get it out of you, and you need to have this crucial conversation with your own self.
Ew.
If you've got good friends around you, they should be having this conversation with you. If you're in one of my coaching programs, I'm going to have this conversation with you. I was trying to reach out and touch some of the people in our Monster Producer program today, and some of them have not gotten back to me. And you know why they haven't got back to me? Because they ain't done anything.
No, they're not hustling.
So they wasted probably all of January goofing off, messing around. They're avoiding me because they know I'm going to have a conversation that says, quit having lost potential.
But this, all right, so this is for the viewer. So you got to first, don't you agree? First, you got to talk to yourself.
Yes.
Then, do you want your friends? Because this is where dangerous territory happens.
Yes.
I think we need the conversation from our friends, but we may not want it. What's your advice?
Well,
there?
here's the deal. Put your big girl panties on. Put your big boy panties on, or whatever you wear.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wear big boy panties, but put your big boy underwear on.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. Do you want to reach your potential or not?
Right.
Because I feel like I'm having a crucial conversation with you, the viewer out there today, who's watching Whatever It Takes Network, and you know this is just a career for you.
Right.
This is not your calling. You can find your calling. So here's how I know. Here's the 5 ways I know you are in a calling versus a career. Number 1, you're excited to go back to work on Monday.
Absolutely.
You jacked up, man. You excited. Number 2, you're up at night thinking about your next move.
Solutions.
You're up at night.
Go.
I was just in Charlotte, North Carolina. Then I was in Atlanta, Georgia at the Buckhead Country Club speaking to folks in bow ties and looking good. Here's the deal, man. When you love what you do, you're up at night thinking about it.
Right.
When I was on the airplane, man, I wasn't playing Angry Birds. I wasn't playing poker. I wasn't reading the paper. You know what I was doing? I was thinking about my business.
Right.
Mr. Jim Ayers, the founder of First Bank, $2.2 billion bank, when we had him on my radio show once, he said, Michael, before I go to bed, he's 67 years old, the last thing I think about before I go to bed is my business. The first thing I think about when I wake up is my business. What I dream about at night is my business. That's how you know you're in the calling. The market is rewarding you. How does the market reward you? In the form of love, money, recognition, referrals. You got energy to go strong even when you don't feel like it.
That's big.
You're not going to feel like it every day.
Talk about that.
Show
That's
up.
huge. That's huge.
Show up every day. And if your energy is low, get dressed up, paint up, spray up, pretty up. Get yourself on the A game.
Yeah.
Go to work and show up. Watch podcasts or watch videos like this. Listen to podcasts because that's very important, okay? You're constantly looking for more arenas for your talents. Those are 6 ways. Now, let's get to some kryptonite. Brock, I want some practicality here.
Yeah.
Here's the kryptonite in your life right now. Here's the one thing holding you back. Super Coach is going to find it. Number 1, you're on the wrong bus, and you know it, but will do nothing about it. You're on the wrong bus in life. You know you're on the wrong bus, but you ain't doing nothing about it. It's time. There's a cost of inaction in your life. What's the cost of you pissing away 10 more years of your life knowing you're not doing what you're supposed to do? So, Brock, you've been in jobs where you knew it and you didn't know it.
Yeah.
When you knew you was on the wrong bus, what kept you going to that job?
Safety. I think a lot of us just do it out of being safe. I think we play safe a lot to take care of our family, our friends, etc. But I think what you really have to look at, and I've been there, is that your pissed off meter for not being satisfied with what you want in life. That pissed off meter, once it hits a certain point, it better go off loud enough for you to start making changes. It better ring loud. Now, here's what you've got to do. Take it day by day. You are not going to conquer and be the next Google in 30 days.
That's right.
You're not going to be able to go back and finish your schooling in 30 days. So I think you've got to create many goals, week by week, day by day, month by month. I think that's what you got to
measure
attack.
progress versus perfection.
Right.
Measure progress versus perfection. So here's the deal. If you're on the right bus, hey, you're excited, you're up at night thinking the market's rewarding you. Market never lies. When we come back in segment 3, why don't you believe it's possible for you? Possible for the Eagles, $100 million last year. Why can't you be the one making $100 million? First sale is to you. You're watching the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Michael Burt with the Optimizer Brock Patterson. Hi, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach. You know, I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. And let me tell you, one of the best things we've ever created, and that's our legacy selling system. You see, 95% of the people I coach, business owners, sales professionals, sales managers do not have a selling system. They don't go on the attack every week. They're retreating and contracting every week because they don't have something to say. They don't have a group of people to go after. See, I teach 14 to 20 different strategies in conjunction in a coordinated, systematic approach to build your business. This selling system is really intended to do one thing: build qualified leads, drive deeper networks, and close more deals. People using our system has grown their business. Some people over 100% in a one-year cycle. We used it in our own company to build our business over 40% this year. Come January 23rd and 24th, I'm going to be licensing this to sales managers, sales professionals, small business owners. Come to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Spend 2 days with me, and I'll teach you the ins and out of this system, complete with the quick read books, the videos, the PowerPoints, the handouts. You can go back and teach your troops, and you can build your business in 2015 to mega levels with the Legacy Selling System. Join me January 23rd and 24th in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Email info@coachburt.com for a free consultation. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show. I'm your host, Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach. You can follow me at Michael Burt, Micheal, because everybody needs a coach in life. Follow at Brock Patterson, the optimizer out there in the world. And if you're looking for me to speak at your event, Brock's going to be the person that calls you, negotiates with you, works out the deal. And I speak all over the country, all over the world, really, on any of our signature subjects. And if you want to spend some time with me, there's a couple opportunities, Brock,
that's right,
that are coming up to spend 2 valuable days with me, my staff, my family. 2 of those days are coming up in March, where we're doing Person of Interest Mastery.
That's right.
Which is a 2-day real intense experience where you learn the 6 practical steps of becoming a person of interest in your market. You become licensed in that content, which gives you the permission to teach the content. We give you the books, the QR books, we give you the PowerPoints, and you spend 2 days with me. You actually come in and watch me teach a workshop to our corporate members.
That's a big win this time.
And I'm going to show you how to be a person of interest and how do you become the celebrity other people want a piece of and cannot live without. That's opportunity 1, March 26th and 27th, right here outside of Nashville, Tennessee. We just had a group go through the licensing group.
That's right.
Shout out to them. Scott LaRue. We had Brock Hamrick.
That's right.
My man Brock Hamrick came from Wisconsin. Scott LaRue. We had the Colemans, Terry and Tammy Coleman. Georgia Evans. Sweet Georgia Evans.
Dennis Patchett was here.
Woman. Dennis Patchett, First Community. So March 26th and 27th, you can come into town, spend 2 days with me, and get your license in a person of interest concept. Also, I'm coming to the Big Apple, New York City.
Look out.
The Monster Producer Summit. And I'm coming to Monster Producer Summit, and that is in April 17th and 18th. The Sheraton, New York City, Times Square. 2 days with me. You can order that right now online at coachburt.com. $4.99 for 8 hours with me teaching you the principles in my book Monster Producer and the Monster Producer program. That's going to be 2 nights at the Sheraton Music City.
You know,
Sheraton Music City, Sheraton Times Square. And I'm coming up there, $4.99, man. That's a steal.
It's a big deal.
Man, that's a steal. Come on,
we need a picture of you with Naked Cowboy.
Woo, we'll get one.
With your boots and Naked Cowboy.
What if I take my boots and I become a naked cowboy?
I think it.
With my cowboy hat on?
You heard it now.
With my cowboy hat on?
With him.
Monster Producer,
Let's go.
baby. Monster Producer.
Attention
We appreciate
getting.
you watching the show today. Super Coach Show. We believe 1 hour can change your life. We believe your radio and TV can be your coach. And so today we're talking, are you in a career or are you in your calling? And is this possible for you? In this segment, here's what I want to know. Why don't you believe it's possible? I get to wake up every day, do what I love doing.
Yeah.
I get to coach the hell out of people.
Yeah.
I get to write books. I get to have my own TV show. We've done reality television. We got online programs. I get to live in the city I want to live in.
Right.
I get to go home at night and do what I want to do. Why is that not possible for you? You see, here's the problem. You believe there's an imaginary line between you and successful people. There's something they got that you don't think you got. It's like there's a line between the haves and the have-nots. Nothing could be further than the truth, because here's the deal. That line exists in your mind.
Right.
There is nothing separating from you from them. You got the goods. You've got the talent. So the first problem you got is you believe there's an imaginary line between you and them. Second problem you got is your past programming. Now, how would past programming, if we listen to
Right.
people like Randy Gage, our
Yeah.
buddy Randy Gage, who's been on my show a few times, he talks a lot about past programming.
Right.
And so explain to the viewer that if you got some past programming issues, there are some limiting beliefs. There's been some environmental scripting,
Oh, yeah.
some psychological scripting that is prohibiting you from believing that you're deserving to wake up and live out your calling every day. Talk about that, bro.
You have to be really, really cognizant of your behavior, I think, and pay attention to how you react. You know, if your parents were, extreme situations, life was going to end if something happened, and that's how you're reacting to everything. I think you have to dissect that. You do not have to become
That's
the
right.
product of your upbringing. I mean, you have to change, and you have to be, one of the things I just wrote down, you have to be willing to go. When the time is now, when you're faced with that opportunity to climb that ladder or reach for a new dream or start a new business, I mean, you have to be willing to go. You cannot wait for someone to tell you, hey, go ahead, it's time.
That's right. George Evans said it best. She's in our coaching program.
Yeah.
She just bought a new exit franchise.
Yeah.
I said, why did you do this? She said, I wanted to be part of something bigger in my life, and sometimes you can't wait on other people
Ooh,
to
yeah,
create the bigger.
absolutely.
You got to get off the bench and do it. Now, here's what I think the problem
Yeah.
is. You're not a transition person. You're stuck in the past. You're living in
Right.
the past. Don't ever let your past hold your future hostage. Live out of your imagination instead of your memory. The first sale you got to wake up every day and make is to your own self. You got to sell yourself to yourself. Here's the affirmation you got to say. I am a person of interest.
Right.
People are counting on me. Success is my duty, obligation, responsibility. People need me in their life because I have something incredibly
Yeah,
valuable.
right.
Sell yourself to yourself. Now, another reason I see people don't believe it because the environment they're in.
True.
They're
Absolutely.
around negative people. They're in negative marriages.
Right.
They're in negative relationship. Your biggest supporter and fan should be your partner.
Amen. And one of the things that happened, I've cut out a lot of friends. And it is probably, even one of my best friends in my entire life. But I had to do it in order to get to where I was going, which is to really put my potential to a test, to achieve some great things. And you are going to have to. It is hard. It is not easy. A lot of these will be people that you've been around for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 25 years. But you're going to have to cut out some of that negativity.
Their think is not as big as your think
No,
sometimes.
not at all.
They can't see what you see. Now, I made a joke yesterday in Buckhead, Georgia. When I first started writing books when I was 25 years old, I'm 38 years old now, my closest friction came from every one of my friends
Right.
and every one of my peers that I coached against. They made fun of me for writing books. I was the first guy to have a website as a high school coach. And they said, well, who do you think you are? Just because you got a website don't mean you're a coach. Don't mean you're a great coach. Here's what's interesting. Almost every close friend that I have today pays lots of money for me to coach and work with him today.
Right.
Now think about that.
Yeah.
10 years ago, they were laughing at me.
Who's laughing now?
Who are you good enough to write the book? And I had to prove it to them
Yeah.
that I was an expert at what I do.
Right.
So there's no greater flattery than your own friends paying
Yeah.
money to be coached by you
Absolutely.
because of what you bring to the table. So one of the problems you got is you've given up. I see a lot of this. You just given up on your bigger future, man. You just clocked out. You just checked out on your bigger future. You don't believe it's possible. You can't sell yourself to yourself. You're in a limiting environment you need to get yourself out of, okay? Or you got a limited skill set. You
True.
got a limited skill set. And here's the deal, man. You got to think of yourself as a person of interest selling an object of interest. If your skill set is limited and you won't do what it takes to get better, what options do you have?
Sure.
You'll always be relegated to your past. And sometimes things are better to you in the past than they are to you in the future. So let's get into some of the kryptonite here.
Let's hear
Because I think this is a big source of kryptonite.
this. Absolutely.
And kryptonite's the one thing that's holding you back, Clark Kent had some kryptonite. It was that pretty little girl, what was her name? That was the girl who wrote stories about it.
Yeah.
That was his kryptonite. Sometimes
Oh,
women's
yeah, the
kryptonite, man.
green kryptonite.
The kryptonite,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah, kryptonite
Yeah.
is the one thing that's holding
Yeah.
you back, right? Here's some of the kryptonite. Then Brock's going to give us a practical tip of what you can do if your problem is your thinking big enough and you don't believe it's possible. Here's the kryptonite. Your goals and dreams are not big enough. Your goals and your dreams are not big enough. One of the things I like about Cardone is because he's got a goal of owning $1 billion of real estate. $1 billion of real estate. That's a big dream. That's a big goal. You think is not big enough. You know, when I was flying first class, did I mention flying first class?
It's kind of like that. I saw pictures.
When I was sitting up front and I was watching people walk by, the commoners, they were heading on back to the Conair section of the plane. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm sitting there in my big two-seater, and they asked me if I'd like a glass of wine, and I'm already working. I'm the first on the plane. I'm sitting there thinking, man, it only costs $100 to go first class, man. You see the difference?
Right.
But the difference in mindset. You know, I tell people in Nashville, Tennessee, there's Broadway, which is where all of the people play, all of the up-and-comers play. And across the street is Bridgestone. And I say it's only a couple hundred yards apart, if that. But for some people, it's miles and miles apart.
Absolutely.
And for you, part of your problem is you think ain't big enough, man. You think is not big enough. It don't excite you because you got little bitty, tiny, limited goals, and you're not exposed to bigger thinker. Brock, what can a person who's got small think, what can they do, man?
Man, embrace. I think you just have to embrace it. Now's the time. And, you know, I was faced with a moment, and I'll talk to you because there's a lot of you that are probably late bloomers. I was a late bloomer. I was restricted in my schooling. I was restricted in my environment, and I just didn't develop my skill set. It wasn't until I was probably 28 or 29 I woke up and realized that I had $19.93 in my bank account. I was 28 or 29. And I realized that was the year that I graduated. I probably had that amount of money when I graduated high school.
Woo!
So I decided that I was going to change. I went from D's to degrees, the class clown to a college professor. And so I think that you have to realize that it can happen at any time, anywhere, any place. You have to decide today that you're going to make the change. Surround yourself with positive people. Find a coach.
That's
and
right.
Go get
$19.83 at 29 years old, from class clown to college professor, now to the optimizer. It can't happen for you. You're watching the Super Coach Show. 1 hour can't change your life. Come on back. We're going to talk about the steps you can take to be compensated for your talents. Hey, this is Coach Michael Burt, and I have a prediction. Within the next 5 years, every manager in the world will have to become a coach. You know, a good coach will do 3 things for you. They make you have conversations you don't want to have. They make you do some things you don't want to do. They'll help you become something you didn't think you could become. This transition, what I call the coaching revolution, prompted me to create a program called Turn Your Managers into Coaches. What we want to do is drive up engagement, drive up production. We want to become a manager other people want to follow. If you've got managers out there that you want to turn into coaches that engage people in systematic behaviors that allows them to do something tomorrow they simply cannot do today, pick up the phone and call us, 225-8380, 615-225-8380, or email us at info@coachburt.com, and we're going to teach you how to turn your managers into great coaches. Career versus calling, what we're talking today on the Super Coach Show. We come to you live every single week, 3 p.m. on the Whatever It Takes Network. You can go to coachburt.com, pick up any of our 10 books, our new Monster Producer Planner. You can sign up for the New York City Summit, spend 2 days with me, or if you're interested in going through my Person of Interest Mastery course, March 25th and 26th, right here, spend 2 days with me. We go out to dinner. We spend time. Transformational, man. We just got through with the weekend. I'll spend 2 days with you, change your life. We believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Follow me at Michael Burt and follow at Brock Patterson, the Optimizer. And today we've been talking, is this a career to you or is this a calling to you? Is this just a job where you're renting? Make sure you get that. You're renting a depreciating asset of your time to somebody. And they're compensated. You most likely very poorly. You're not enjoying it. You're not being challenged. You're bored out of your freaking mind. You're barely getting by.
Right.
You got $29. Was it 29 bucks? $19.83 at 29 years old. You got a son at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, man, forget this, man.
I had a job, was working, and I said, you know what, it's over.
It's over, man.
It is over. And I was doing exactly what you just
It's time to get off the bench and get in the game. So now you're out there listening. You're like, you jacked up. You're excited. You all jacked up. You're ready to go. You're ready to tackle the world. You're like, man, I need a coach. I got it, right? What are some practical steps you can take to being compensated for your talents? Well, here's what I would tell you. And I counsel a lot of people. A lot of people come to me and say, man, I'm on the wrong bus. I got friends right now on the wrong bus.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie's got girlfriends on the wrong bus. I'm like, man, when are they going to read my freaking book, man? She's been in 6 different jobs at the wrong jobs. She's miserable. She works for 3 months and gets fired. It ain't because she ain't talented. It's because she's on the wrong bus, okay? First step, find your talent. So here's what we got to do. We got to do a market analysis.
Right.
That's a fancy word that just means this. Let's look out to see other people who are doing what we would like to do. When I first became a speaker, I would watch hours and hours and hours of video of other people speaking. How much did they get paid? How did they get booked?
Right.
What did they do? I would read books like Speak and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are they doing, man? I was reading $1 Million Coaching on the plane tonight, $1 Million Speaking. These are books you need to read if you're interested in doing that, okay? Who's already getting paid for what you want to do?
Right.
That's the first question.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Who's already getting paid, okay? Number 2, you could bring a new idea to market. One of the new books I'm reading is Self-Made Billionaires. There are 800 self-made billionaires in the world.
It's insane.
Billy killers.
Yeah.
With an 8. With a B, right?
Yeah.
800 of them. Most of them brought some kind of twist to a current idea.
I like that.
There's an idea out there in the market. They didn't reinvent the deal.
No.
They just improved the idea. So you could bring a new idea to the market, but you got to educate the market. You got to do that. You could take an old idea and make it better.
Sure.
There's a lot of old ideas that need a twist. You could create a whole new industry. If there's a whole new revolution. There's a whole new. Think about the person that said, "Let's put bottled water in a bottle." That's a whole new industry, right? Or you could become a brilliant marketer, because we tell a lot of people you got to get your name out there.
Right.
Well, specifically, what does that mean when you tell people you got to get your name out there? With us, we beat social media to death. We do TV, radio, podcasts, social media. We are pushing out to the market what we believe, because here's at the end of the day, you got to get attention for what you got, man.
Right.
You got to get attention for what you got, because if you don't get attention for what you have, then nobody's ever going to give you time of day. Money follows 4 things. Don't ever forget this. It follows energy, it follows attention, it follows action, and it follows circulation and movement. That's what money follows. I want to give you some kryptonite here before we finish this show up.
Let's hear it up.
If you're serious about making this shift, you do a market analysis. But here's your kryptonite that's holding you back from getting started. You dream it, but you won't do it.
Right.
All dreamers are not achievers. But most achievers are dreamers, okay? You are paralyzed by fear. Fear of what? Here's what you need to be paralyzed. Fear of living a life that don't matter. Fear of having lost potential. Fear of inaction. I heard last week at church, the pastor told us that laziness is just passivity when decisive action is needed. Now, I thought that's pretty dang good.
Pretty strong.
Laziness is just passivity when decisive action is actually needed.
Strong.
You need to take action. You don't. You're passive. Because you're passive, you're lazy. So here's a kryptonite. You got something good, but you don't understand. You need a whole lot more attention for it. You need a whole lot more attention for what you got. Either you dream it, but you won't do it, or you got something really good, man, you're just not getting enough attention. This is the biggest challenge with the small business owner. Brock, give them some practical tips, and I'm going to wrap this baby up.
Become a lifelong learner. Study gurus. If you want to study one at a time, or study 10 at a time. But be a lifelong learner. Watch Shark Tank. I'm telling you, Shark Tank is incredible. It's inspiring to look at the families, the kids, the former business owners. So absorb a lot of content and go out there and find several mentors.
That's right, man. Get around big things.
Yes.
Here's a recap of the show for you. Number 1, here's what I got to get you knowing as your coach, because I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Number 1, this dream is possible for you. You can have a calling versus just a career. Number 2, you got to wake up every morning, sell yourself to yourself. You got to wake up and tell yourself you are a person of interest. You do have big things that are happening. People are counting on you. Success is your duty, obligation, responsibility. You got to get around stronger caliber players.
Right.
Not get around big think people. I think bigger, okay? You got to start small to go big. You got to start small to go big. I went back and watched some of our earlier videos. Watch some of Cardone's earlier videos. Him filming his own self. Me filming my own self. Google Hangouts before he had the studio.
Right.
Okay, start small, but take action to go big. You don't have to reinvent. You don't have to reinvent. Sometimes you just throw a wrinkle, baby. You don't have to reinvent. Sometimes you just throw a wrinkle. Every week we come to you, and we want to multiply your life, multiply your money, multiply your business. We always find a kryptonite in your life. This is the Super Coach Show, and you can watch us every week on the Whatever It Takes Network, 3 p.m. Eastern. Get out there this week and go out there and find your calling. Hey, greatness called. It's been looking for you, baby. This is Coach Michael Burt and Brock Patterson signing off. Have a great week, everybody.